My fiancé gave me an ultimatum: go into debt for her dream wedding, so I walked away and made one move that left her exposed, turning pressure into freedom. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Back when saving meant mowing lawns for quarters, I believed every penny earned was a penny deserved. I met Tina Caldwell at a backyard party. Her city shine dazzled me. She said she liked my simple life. My dad's motto, you don't spend what you don't have, echoed as we bonded over lakeside coffee mornings and fishing trips. She tangled her line and laughed. And I thought, she gets it. She told me she admired how I fixed my own truck instead of leasing flashy rides. When I showed her my budget spreadsheet, she clapped like I painted a masterpiece. That night, she helped me plan our one-day cabin dream by the lake. She called it humble and perfect. I believed we were building a life from the same blueprint. Her voice in my head whispered, we're in this together. When we got engaged, Tina's Pinterest board exploded. Suddenly, our lakeside wedding idea became a ballroom fantasy. She scoffed at the thrift store dresses I suggested, calling them settler chic. I laughed it off, thinking stress was making her fussy. But when she sent me a guest list with 200 names, my gut tightens. I asked if we could scale back. She said, not if you love me. She upgraded her engagement ring behind my back, traded the sapphire I picked for a diamond 3 times the size. Her mother applauded the move, saying, no, it looks like you belong together. I stood silent, embarrassed and angry. Tina shrugged. You wanted me to feel special, right? That night, I stared at the ring box in my drawer, wondering when love turned into performance. Was I enough without a receipt? She started dropping phrases like forever deserves a statement venue and credit is just modern love. At dinner with her parents, they pitched a luxury wedding loan like it was a new car. I sipped water, my jaw clenched. Becca, my sister, nudged me under the table, mouthing, you okay? I wasn't. Tina winked and said, we'll just add it to your credit, babe. My stomach dropped. This wasn't love. I tried to compromise, suggested a cozy backyard ceremony, offered to handcraft decorations. Tina barely looked up from her phone. That's cute, she said, but my bridesmaids need glam. She shared a screenshot of designer dresses priced higher than my monthly rent. I felt like a joke. Lily, her best friend, whispered, just say yes, she's stressed. But I wasn't laughing. Our dream was shrinking, replaced by dollar signs I couldn't chase. She asked me to take out a $30,000 loan, her non-negotiable. We were on her parents' patio. Champagne and flutes, expectations thick as fog. I looked at Tina and said no. Her eyes sharpened. You'd rather shame me than invest in us, I said. If us means debt, then yes, her mother gasped. Becca grabbed my hand under the table. Tina stood and walked inside without a word. That silence, it ended everything. The next day, she posted our breakup on Instagram with a cryptic caption. Some people don't know how to love women with standards. I didn't reply. Becca texted, proud of you. Jake, a mutual friend, called and said, you dodged a gold-plated bullet. Tina unfolded on me within the hour. I sat alone in my apartment, staring at the untouched fishing rod she once said she loved. I wasn't heartbroken. I was relieved. 2 weeks later, Tina called. Her voice was soft, almost sweet. He left, she whispered. I asked, who? She hesitated, then said, Ryan, my fiancé. I blinked. She'd replaced me before our serve of cards were printed. He said I drained him dry, she added. I felt a twist, not pity, not glee, just closure. She sniffed. Can we talk? I said. We just did, and hung up. The silence felt different this time. I walked to the lake alone, the one we dreamed of marrying beside. The bench creaked under me. I took out the ring, still sapphire, still mine, and skipped it across the water. The splash felt final. A group nearby laughed. Unaware they were witnessing a funeral for an illusion, I smiled, not bitter, just done. Tina never wanted me, just the story. Now I had mine. And it didn't cost a cent. Becca invited me to stay with her for a bit reset. Her place was small, cozy, filled with second-hand warmth. She made chili the first night like mom used to. I told her everything. She didn't interrupt, just passed me a spoon and nodded. You were brave, she said. I didn't feel brave, just exhausted. But that night, under a faded quilt, I slept for 10 straight hours. No dreams, no regrets. Jake sent me a screenshot. Tina on a wedding subreddit, ranting anonymously. Men are cowards who pretend to be providers. Her username DiamondDreamer34. I laughed out loud. It wasn't just about me. She needed a sponsor, not a partner. I showed Becca. She raised an eyebrow. You dodged more than a bullet. You dodged a crater. It clicked. This wasn't personal. Tina didn't betray me. She betrayed her own fantasy, and I escaped it. Lily messaged me, surprising, since she was Tina's echo for months. I'm sorry, she wrote. I thought you were being cheap. Now I know better. She attached a voicemail. Tina left her. I don't want a man, I want the life. Lily added. She tried to control everything, even my bridesmaid speech. It wasn't just me. Tina steamrolled anyone who didn't match her script. I typed back thank you and meant it this time. At a mutual friend's birthday, I ran into Tina's cousin. He clinked his beer against mine and said, heard you passed her test. Confused, I asked what he meant. Tina bets who'll bend first. You didn't, apparently. Her friends placed money on how far I'd go before breaking. My face flushed. That night, I deleted every photo, even the good ones, especially the good ones. They weren't memories, they were marketing. Jake and I caught up over beers. He confessed Tina once flirted with him back when we were still dating. Thought she was joking, he muttered, but it kept happening. My stomach sank. He apologized, said he didn't want to start drama. I thanked him anyway. It wasn't about the flirt, it was the timing. Tina wasn't looking for love, she was interviewing investors. And I was just one more pitch meeting. A package arrived, no return address. Inside our old scrapbook, pages torn, photos missing, but a sticky note remained. You couldn't have had it all, no signature. I tossed it in the trash, then I took it back out, not to keep, just to tear it further. I fed it page by page into the shredder. The last to go was our lake cabin sketch. I watched it vanish. It was never ours. Becca gave me an old family photo. Mom, Dad, us kids at the lake. Thought you might want this back, she said. I hadn't seen it in years. I framed it and placed it by the window. It wasn't the lake dream I had with Tina, but it was real, honest. I whispered, thanks, Mom. That photo didn't ask for sparkle or spectacle. It just sat there, quiet, true, and it was enough. One night, I got a text from Tina, still think you were right. I stared at it. No greeting, no apology, just ego and address. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my budgeting app and transferred $500 into my cabin fund. That felt better than any comeback. She wanted reaction. I chose silence, not the kind she gave me. The kind that builds brick by quiet brick. At a hardware store, I saw a couple arguing over backsplash tiles. The guy said, let's not go over budget. She snapped, why do you always cheap out? I smiled. Not out of spite, but recognition. I'd lived that scene. Walked out of it. I bought a new drill that day, one I'd wanted but never felt justified buying. This time, it wasn't for a wedding, it was for a home mine. Lily sent another message, she's engaged again. Met him last month. Big ring again. I blinked. Tina moved fast. But it wasn't about speed, it was about pattern. Same script, new actor. I didn't feel bitter, just detached. Like watching reruns of a show I used to love but outgrew. I typed, wish him luck. Deleted it, sent nothing. That chapter closed itself. Some people repeat lessons. Others finally walk out of class. Becca found an old letter mom wrote before she passed. Spend what you need, save what you can, love with honesty. It wasn't fancy advice, just real. I pinned it above my desk. That night, I opened a blank notebook and wrote, cabin plans. No one clapped, no Instagram story. Just me, my thoughts, and a desk lamp humming. That was the love I missed, quiet and demanding, and finally, my own. I ran into Tina's dad at a gas station. He nodded, said, shouldn't have listened to you. I blinked. He added, she burned through another one. I didn't ask details. He looked tired of watching his daughter chase Sparkle and Ash. You alright? He asked. Better than ever, I replied. He smiled. Just a twitch good. We parted with a handshake. No drama. Just mutual understanding. Maybe he saw me now. I volunteered at a local repair workshop, teaching teens basic carpentry. One girl asked why I never got married. I smiled. Not every blueprint leads to a build. She nodded like she understood. I showed her how to sand a corner smooth. Steady, patient, like healing, like starting over. That workshop smelled like wood and redemption. Every screw turn felt like reclaiming something, not just time or money, dignity, and the right plans. Jake invited me to a cabin trip, 3 friends, beer. No phones, we fished, grilled, argued over who snored. On the last night, by the fire, Jake said, you ever think she did you a favor? I nodded. Every day the fire crackled. I didn't need revenge or vindication, just this man who didn't need me to buy love or prove worth. Just show up with snacks and stories, that was enough. Lily posted a quote, people don't change for love, they change from truth. It wasn't tagged, but I felt it. We bumped into each other weeks later at a bookstore. You okay? She asked. Better, I said. She smiled. She's still chasing, I nodded. I stopped running. We didn't talk long, but our hug lingered. Not romance, just recognition. 2 people who watched the same storm and finally stepped into the sun. My cabin plans took shape, sketches, savings, supply quotes. One vendor asked, you building for someone? I smiled. Just me, he grinned. Best kind. Each nail I budgeted felt like a promise to myself. Not a grand gesture, just foundation and freedom. Tina used to say love was proven by price tags. I say it's proven by what you build when no one's watching. And I was finally building something that wouldn't collapse. I found the old lake map Tina and I once framed back when dreams were shared. I nearly trashed it, but paused. Flipping it over, I sketched a new route. My cabin, my trail, my finish line. That night, I framed the flip side and hung it above my bed. The past didn't need burning, it just needed repurpose swapping. Tina drew the map. I chose a new path. That's the real blueprint of love. As autumn came, I returned to the lake one last time, leaves curled in golden red. I stood on the old dock where Tina first said, we belong here. Now, I whispered it to myself. No audience, no demands, just wind and water and peace. I skipped a rock across the surface. It danced then sank like us, like plans that never fit, and I smiled. Steady, letting it all drift. Looking back, I don't hate Tina, I see her clearly now. She didn't love wrong, she loved shallow, and I went deep hoping she'd follow. Turns out, not everyone wants the bottom of the lake. Some just like the view, but I'm done waiting on the shore. Fat dogs behind me, head, I build my piece, and no more questions about what I'm worth. I already know. I read moms know weekly love with honesty. It's underlined now. That kind of love isn't loud or lavish. It shows up in lunch packed on a rainy day or a phone call just because. Tina never got that, but I do. Every nail in my cabin frame says it. Every quiet morning proves it. I'm building more than shelter. I'm building the kind of love that doesn't leave. Sometimes I wonder if Tina saw me now, would she understand what she missed? Probably not, and that's okay. This piece I've earned isn't loud enough for her taste, but it fits me perfectly. Like hand-sanded wood and early coffee. I'm not chasing applause anymore. Just real, just steady. That's what I was always worth. And finally, I'm the one who believes it most. Tina got engaged again, then unengaged a month later. Lily told me the guy found her budget spreadsheets hidden in a labeled folder, backup groom fund. That went viral. The comments were brutal. I didn't join the pile on. Some crashes are loud, others are quiet. Hers echoed online, mine, it cleared the air. My sister sent me the link. I replied, I'm good. She texted back a single word, free. That's what I am now. Now I live in a 1-room cabin near the lake. Mornings are quiet. Coffee is strong. The floor creaks just right. My tools hang on pegboards like medals. I host monthly fix-it nights. Neighbors come with broken things and leave with something whole. That's all I ever wanted. Not a diamond-studded life, just a steady one. When people ask if I regret walking away, I tell them, I didn't walk away, I walked home. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.